How can you recognize what would be a great cast member versus an average one? Well, it's all wrapped up in the 4 keys. Theme park workers are a special breed, a special kind of person. There are some things that make them incredible compared to people who work other jobs. And there are certain ways that you can recognize who will be a great one versus an average one and versus a not good one. This is part of why Disney came up with the 4 keys to the kingdom, to help not only be able to sort out who's great and who isn't, but also to let cast members know what helps to make them great and what isn't. So the 4 keys have been long established. They're safety, courtesy, show, and efficiency, in that order. They did just recently add on a 5th key with diversity, but honestly, in my opinion, if you're doing courtesy right, it completely encompasses diversity. And if you're failing at courtesy, well, that's where the diversity emphasis needs to come in. So the 4 keys really cover it all, and they help guide you as to what's an amazing cast member and what isn't. They're even arranged in order. So safety. Safety is number one. Always. 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 If you ever go into an interview for any job, theme park or not, and they ask you about safety, safety is number one. It doesn't matter how nice you were to somebody if they are injured or dead. It doesn't matter how good it looked when they got hurt. Safety is number one. Safety is never compromised. And safety is the only time I ever yelled at guests. I didn't yell at guests unless it was to save their life or to save them from getting hurt. Yes, I did yell at a guest when I saw them trying to jump over a fence by the castle moat. No, get back in! Yeah, it drew a little bit of attention, but it kept them from going over the fence and falling and getting hurt. Yes, I did yell at a guest when they jumped off the train at Silver Dollar City when it was moving, because it could have gotten them very seriously hurt. Yes, I did yell at a guest when they undid their seatbelt and stood up on Rhino Rally while we're in the middle of the water portion, because they almost got thrown out. Sit down, buckle up! Don't like to yell, really don't, but I would rather yell and compromise the courtesy and save them from getting hurt. I had one guest that got rather upset with me at Disney one time because they were insisting on taking a picture in the middle of Main Street, and the trolley was coming, and these trolleys weigh a couple tons with large horses, and they don't stop, and this guest wouldn't move. And I told him, hey, you need to move, raised my voice, yelled, and then I finally grabbed him and moved him. I mean, literally this far from getting hit. They got mad at me. How dare you touch me? How dare you? Well, look, sir, I'm sorry. I could have let you get run over and hurt, but courtesy goes out the window when safety is involved. If it has to. You still want to maintain courtesy and show if at all remotely possible. And that's the only time they get compromised, is for safety. Otherwise, courtesy is up there, and so is maintaining the show. Courtesy is huge. You gotta be nice. You gotta smile. Courtesy is so important that when you applied for a job at Walt Disney World and you walked into the casting building, at the time I was there, they actually had cameras from outside the doors all the way up the hall. There's a long ramp that went up where you actually filled out the application. There were cameras there. They were looking to see if you were smiling and happy and excited to be there. And if you walked in scowling, oh, here we go, you weren't going to get a job, because they actually did watch those cameras. I saw them with one of our hiring directors from PhotoPass. Legitimately there, they would go look at the camera and watch the person as they walked in to see if they were going to be a good candidate or not. And if they were scowling, they didn't even consider them. True story. Smile. If you're not one who naturally smiles, practice. I know this sounds crazy, but stand in front of a mirror and just practice smiling. It will make a difference. And after all, if you're at a park, don't you gravitate towards people that are happy to be there and smiling? And then be nice. Treat people fairly. Don't treat everybody equally. You don't treat everybody the same. And I know this is kind of a mind-blowing thing. You treat everybody with respect and in accordance with who and what they are and their culture. You respect the culture, you respect them. Let me give you an example. Somebody with disabilities. A common thing that you would see happen is if somebody came in a wheelchair and obviously has some special needs, what people tend to do a lot of times is they talk to the people with the person in the chair, but not the one in the chair. Hey, are they having a great time? Do you think they're having fun? Why don't you ask them? Hey, are you having fun? Have we managed to take care of everything for you? Is there anything I can do for you to help make your day better? Talk to them directly. You'd be surprised how many people don't. If they're short, a child, for example, or something like that, don't stand towering over them. Get down on one knee, look them in the eye, and talk to them that way. You'd be surprised what a difference it makes. If I had people come up in chairs, I'd go down on one knee and sit down there and talk to them. And that way it was eye level. They weren't having to stare up at me. It brought me down to their level and made us equals. Just small little things, but they're ones that make a huge difference to those people. So when you see somebody that is diverse in some way, recognize it. Treat them kindly. Treat them wonderfully. Treat them with courtesy and respect, and it takes care of that. People want to be around friendly people, so be friendly. Maintaining show is also huge. It starts with the personal appearance. You want to make sure the costume is put together right, in order, looks neat, that they're not covered with wrinkles. This was actually terrible for me because our dryer was not real good, so my shirt would wrinkle. But thankfully I had vests to wear at Disney and at Silver Dollar City, so it would cover that. And then, you want to look neat. You want to look good. You want to be clean shaven, assuming that's how it fits your role. At Silver Dollar City, if I was robbing for a few days, I'd let the whiskers grow out because it added to the scruffy feel of the character. But at Disney, I never did. I always shaved. So you want to maintain the appearance, not just of the employee, but also of the area around them, the story that they are portraying, because you are part of a story. This was actually one thing that bothered me a little bit at Silver Dollar City at times, is some of the guys would occasionally fit that they're playing a role and would forget to maintain the story, and all of a sudden, rather than being the train conductor or Alfie and Ralphie Bolin, well, hey, now I'm just George from Crane, Missouri. And I rarely let down the character part. I might occasionally tell people who I was, but it was always still kind of within the character of it, because I wanted to maintain that integrity of it. So for me to break that character and kind of go into reality a little bit was rare, but it was often done as a means of courtesy, because courtesy would outweigh it. We would occasionally do it if, say, it was somebody's last day on the train. We would occasionally do it if I saw somebody that had a special need and, okay, I need to step out of my regular role here and let me step into my other role in real life because I can better help that person that way. But we were always finding ways to improve the story too. The custodians painting the water pictures of Mickey and that actually started off as one custodian playing around, trying something new, and the guests loving it. And there was actually a period where he was at risk of getting in trouble for doing it. Thankfully, they realized it's improving the story. And now the custodians actually get special training on how to draw water pictures for the guests. It's become part of the magic. It meant, as a photographer, we would find new ways to take photos that would capture guests and the moments they were experiencing that hadn't been done before. Maybe we were going into a different position, a different angle. Maybe we would try some different props, a different location. Hey, let me do something that can help tell a story with this photo that we couldn't tell before. And so we were always looking at ways to improve the storytelling of it. Or if it was something that didn't fit the story, we'd get creative and find a way to make it fit. And then lastly, efficiency. Here's where you take all of the above and you know what the rules are and you maintain the rules and you keep the rules for everybody's safety and the show and the courtesy, but you also knew occasionally when to bend it just a little bit to help make some magic. You look for ways to make things better. in operations, in efficiency, ways to improve things. Maybe the ride isn't getting as many people through. Maybe the food service isn't serving as many people. How can we improve it and make it better for everybody, and actually then improve the show and the courtesy as a result? What are different things that we can do to improve it? So we actually came up with a system when it came to meeting the characters, because it was just kind of a hodgepodge. Okay, we know where they're going to walk up, and is it autographs first or second or last? When do you do the pictures? And we actually created a system to help meet and greets with characters flow better, so that every guest could have a great experience, so that we knew the timing for it, and to help make it all efficient, so that way the show and the courtesy could shine and do that for everybody, rather than having one or two guests have this amazing long experience and then have everybody behind them get very little to nothing because the time had been taken. So it's where efficiency actually is a way to, how can we improve the safety, the courtesy, and the show, and make everything better for everybody. A good cast member is going to take all of those and encompass them and make that experience for the guests the best they possibly can. And you will see this where they go out of their way to help a guest in need. If they've had an issue where their clothes got ruined, for example, maybe somebody got sick or something got spilled, or things happen. Okay, how can we improve this? Courtesy says, let's get you taken care of. Let's get you some new clothes. Efficiency says, I know where the closest place is going to be that's going to have something that will fit you. Show says, we're going to make sure that we get this taken care of to make you feel the best and take care of you that way, so it looks good for you. And safety, well, we're going to make sure that you don't have to worry about getting sick in what you're wearing or having an issue. So they all come together to make this moment where the guests receive something that is above and beyond normal, and it turns their whole day into something special. You constantly look at a way to make the guest's day. Even things like Year of a Million Dreams pins, small little gifts, but it is a means of show, hey, we're keeping up this facade of making everything look good, and courtesy, here's a special gift for you just to make you have a great day. That makes their day. Something simple, something small, and a lot of times it's the small things. So when you do see a cast member that goes above and beyond in this way, there actually are even ways to recognize them. At Disney, we had a couple different things. When I was there, we had what was called a GSF card, a guest service fanatic. Well, of course, times change and modern methods come in. Now they actually have what's called cast compliment. And you can actually do this through social media. For example, on Twitter, you tag at Walt Disney World, hashtag cast compliment. Post up a picture of the cast member if you can, a description of who they were, where they were, what they were doing, and why it was special. Disney notices these things and gets back to them. There's actually, even in the My Disney Experience app now, a way to do this. Now, I don't like it as well in the app because it only gives a date, time, and location, and it doesn't really give you an opportunity to explain why what they did was so special, but you can do it in the app to recognize them now. And that goes back actually to Disney, and then they can recognize that cast member for going above and beyond. Even little things like thank you notes. I sometimes carry around little cards that say thank you for helping to make the magic, and hand those out. Which reminds me, I got to get those ready for my Disneyland trip that I'm on about the time you see this. Different things like that, or stop up at City Hall or email the parks. They're always happy to hear it. Trust me, the parks love to hear when their people do good, the managers love to hear when the people do good, and the cast members themselves love it. So if you see one do exemplary, please let them know and let the management know, so that way they can be recognized for it. Have you seen great cast members at the parks? Did they do something special? I'd love to hear it. Share your stories in the comments below, because they'll be good. Don't forget to hit the like button. Share this video as well on the theme park forums, Disney places, with your friends and family. I'd love to hear their feedback and news too. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button too. We're on a goal to reach 30,000 subscribers, and you can help us do it. Thank you as well to my financial supporters, my patrons, my YouTube members. I couldn't do it without their support, and I try to reward them with perks too. If you want to know more, please check the description below. Thank you so incredibly much for watching. God bless. This is part of why Disney... Lay down, dog. If they're in a chair and or at Silver Dollar City, if I was robbing for a few days, I'd wear the wristguard. So they all come together to make this moment where the guest receives an there's actually even in their my Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to know about contact information, fan pages, merchandise, and more, please be sure to check the description below. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to know when I have new ones, well, make sure you hit that subscribe button right up there. And if you want to see another one of my videos, well, I've got a great one for you right here. And a huge thank you to these wonderful people here who support me on Patreon and with YouTube memberships. They get behind the scenes information, special perks, and more. If you'd like to know more about that, well, make sure you check that button right there. Thank you so much.